There are moments in life when you meet someone and everything feels like it fits perfectly. The conversation flows, the laughter is effortless, the connection feels almost inevitable. It's magnetic, undeniable, and yet somehow it doesn't last. Timing has a way of sneaking in, subtle and unrelenting, and suddenly the very thing that felt perfect begins to falter. You weren't wrong, they weren't wrong, but the world wasn't ready for the two of you to exist together in that space. Life had other plans, other lessons, other responsibilities that pulled you apart. It's frustrating because connection doesn't follow schedules, calendars, or circumstances. Chemistry can be perfect, but if the timing isn't right, even the strongest bonds can feel like slipping through your fingers. And that is the quiet, painful truth. Sometimes perfection isn't enough when life isn't aligned. Connections are not just about feelings, they are about alignment. Two people can share a bond so deep, so effortless, that it feels like the universe itself orchestrated it. The conversations are seamless, the laughter is unforced, the energy between them seems almost magnetic. And yet, timing can intervene quietly and powerfully, disrupting what otherwise feels perfect. Timing is external, it is shaped by circumstances beyond the control of the people involved. It is the ebb and flow of life, the schedules, the responsibilities, the unexpected events, and the personal journeys that determine when two lives can truly meet in harmony. A connection may be right in every emotional and intellectual sense, but if the timing doesn't allow space, presence, or readiness, the bond struggles to flourish. Timing is a subtle force because it operates alongside internal alignment without being part of it. You might meet someone at a moment when your career demands are consuming, when personal growth requires solitude, or when emotional wounds are still raw. Meanwhile, they might be experiencing their own constraints, family obligations, relocations, or personal challenges. Even when hearts align, life's external pressures can create distance, miscommunication, or missed opportunities. The connection exists, but the circumstances create friction, and friction, no matter how small, prevents relationships from reaching their full potential. The tragedy of mistimed connections is that the people involved are often ready emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, yet external circumstances, time zones, life transitions, geographic distance, or conflicting priorities make it impossible to fully embrace the connection. Chemistry and compatibility may exist, but practical realities interfere. The mind and heart may want alignment, but life's timing has its own rhythm. It's like two dancers moving in perfect synchrony, but the music starts a beat too late, the steps no longer match. The beauty of the connection remains, but the execution falters. Timing can also amplify the poignancy of a connection. Because the emotional and intellectual compatibility is real, the awareness of misalignment hurts more. It isn't apathy, incompatibility, or neglect that pulls people apart. It's simply that life's currents aren't moving in the same direction. That awareness creates longing, regret, and what ifs. People remember the bond not only for its depth, but also for the heartbreak of knowing it could have been had life allowed. The stronger the connection, the more powerful this tension becomes, because the mind and heart recognize what might have been if the universe had been slightly more cooperative. External timing is unpredictable. No one can schedule love or connection. Life doesn't wait for the right moment. It moves in its own rhythm, bringing opportunities at unexpected times and removing them when least anticipated. Even if both people are perfectly aligned internally, life's external forces, career moves, personal crises, relocation, or other responsibilities can prevent the connection from being fully realized. Timing is indifferent to human desire. It doesn't pause for chemistry, intimacy, or readiness. And in this sense, timing can feel cruel because it's invisible yet immensely influential. It can shape the trajectory of relationships, determining whether a bond deepens or withers. Understanding that timing is external, separate from the authenticity of connection, allows for perspective. It explains why sometimes two people can feel right for each other yet fail to come together. It isn't a failure of love, character, or compatibility. It's simply the reality of life's rhythms. Recognizing this truth doesn't erase the pain of a mistimed connection, but it reframes it. The bond was real, meaningful, and transformative, even if it couldn't exist fully in the moment. Timing may prevent perfection from unfolding, but it cannot erase the impact of a genuine connection. Connections ruined by timing often leave lasting impressions. They teach lessons about patience, acceptance, and the unpredictable nature of life. They also show the value of cherishing the moments you do share, no matter how fleeting. Even if circumstances pull people apart, the emotional and intellectual resonance remains, shaping future relationships and self-awareness. Timing may prevent a connection from fully blossoming, but it does not diminish its truth, its intensity, or its significance. It reminds us that love and connection are not solely about compatibility. They are about the intersection of hearts, minds, and life's circumstances. Even when two people share a deep and undeniable connection, emotional readiness plays a critical role in whether that bond can truly flourish. Timing may align externally, but if one or both individuals are not ready to engage fully in the relationship, even the most perfect connection can falter. Emotional readiness is about more than just having feelings. It is about being prepared to meet another person with maturity, self-awareness, and a willingness to navigate the complexities of intimacy. A strong connection without readiness can feel intense and consuming, but it often leads to frustration, miscommunication, and missed opportunities because the heart is not yet equipped to sustain the depth of the bond. When someone is emotionally ready, they are able to balance vulnerability with stability. They can express feelings honestly without overwhelming the other person or expecting constant reassurance. They have processed past wounds enough to engage with another person without projecting fears or insecurities onto them. They can listen without judgment, respond without defensiveness, and remain present even in moments of tension. Emotional readiness allows a connection to grow organically because both people can engage fully without being controlled by fear, doubt, or unresolved past experiences. On the other hand, when someone lacks emotional readiness, timing can seem cruel. Even if the chemistry is perfect and both individuals feel drawn to each other, the inability to engage maturely can create conflict, confusion, and distance. A person who is unready might struggle with communication, misinterpret intentions, or pull away when intimacy deepens. They may resist vulnerability or commitment, not because they lack feeling, but because they are not equipped to handle the intensity or responsibility that a deep connection requires. This imbalance can make the bond feel both exhilarating and unstable, leaving both parties longing yet frustrated. Emotional readiness is also tied to self-awareness. Being ready means understanding your own needs, boundaries, and limitations, and being capable of honoring them without compromising the other person's space. Someone who is not ready may act impulsively, seek control, or rely on the other person to regulate their emotions. This creates strain in the relationship because the focus shifts from mutual growth and connection to navigating insecurities and unmet needs. The more intense the connection, the more visible these gaps in readiness become, often leading to repeated cycles of closeness and withdrawal. Timing often exposes this lack of readiness. A connection may appear at a moment when circumstances seem right, yet internal alignment is missing. One person may be ready for love, vulnerability, or commitment, while the other is still processing personal challenges, past heartbreak, or self-doubt. This mismatch can make the connection feel painfully incomplete. Both people may recognize the potential, feel the chemistry, and even desire each other deeply, but the lack of readiness prevents the relationship from sustaining itself. The connection becomes a mirror, reflecting not only desire, but also the personal work that remains unfinished. Emotional readiness also influences how we respond to challenges within a connection. Life is unpredictable, and even the strongest bonds face tests, misunderstandings, distance, stress, or unexpected change. A person who is ready emotionally can navigate these challenges with patience, communication, and resilience. They can tolerate uncertainty, maintain trust, and adapt without losing themselves or the connection. Someone who is unready may react with fear, withdrawal, or defensiveness, unintentionally sabotaging the bond. This reactivity can intensify the sense of misaligned timing because the relationship falters not due to lack of love, but due to the inability to engage constructively. Understanding the role of emotional readiness provides perspective on why some perfect connections fail to manifest fully. It isn't always about choice or compatibility. Sometimes it's about the timing of internal growth. Two people may be perfectly aligned externally, but if one is still learning to navigate their own emotions, the connection cannot sustain the depth it promises. Emotional readiness requires self-reflection, healing, and patience, and it is often the hidden factor that determines whether timing allows love to thrive or interrupts it. Even when timing and circumstances seem to conspire against a connection, emotional readiness leaves a lasting imprint. The bond may not flourish in the way it could have, but it can serve as a catalyst for personal growth and self-discovery, recognizing that the misalignment is not failure, but a reflection of internal readiness allows both people to honor the connection without being trapped by regret or resentment. It teaches the importance of patience, not only with each other, but with oneself, demonstrating that true intimacy requires more than chemistry. It requires preparation of the heart. Even when two people feel a profound connection, life's priorities can interfere often more powerfully than emotion itself. A perfect bond can falter not because feelings are absent, but because external demands, career, family, education, personal growth, or other responsibilities consume attention, time, and energy. Life rarely pauses for chemistry, and even the strongest connection requires space and availability to thrive. When priorities clash with the timing of a connection, it creates tension, distance, and sometimes heartbreak. Both people may genuinely care for each other, yet their circumstances prevent the relationship from unfolding naturally, leaving the connection full of longing but limited in practice. Career obligations, for example, often demand focus, relocation, or long hours that make sustained emotional connection difficult. Someone might be passionate about their work, pursuing opportunities that require travel or relocation, leaving little time for intimacy. Even if both individuals desire closeness, practical constraints can prevent the relationship from receiving the attention it needs to grow. The tension between professional ambition and personal connection becomes an invisible barrier. Both people may feel torn between the bond they cherish and the responsibilities they cannot neglect. This clash is particularly painful because it highlights the difference between desire and reality. The heart is ready, but life is not. Family responsibilities similarly shape timing. One or both individuals may be managing caregiving, parental obligations, or complex family dynamics. These commitments are often non-negotiable and require emotional and physical energy, leaving limited space for a new connection. Even when the relationship is cherished, external pressures can create resentment, stress, or missed opportunities. A person may want to give love freely, but obligations demand prioritization. This doesn't reflect a lack of interest or care, but it can still interrupt the natural rhythm of a bond. Timing here is less about unwillingness and more about competing realities that both parties must navigate. Personal growth and self-development also influence timing. Someone may feel a strong connection yet recognize the need to work on themselves before fully engaging with another person. Emotional maturity, healing from past experiences, or developing independence can require time and focus. A connection may be perfect in the moment, but the individuals involved might not yet be prepared to merge their lives fully without sacrificing personal progress. Life's priorities, in this sense, act as both a protective measure and a barrier, preventing premature entanglement while ensuring future stability. Misalignment occurs when one person is ready to dive in, while the other needs space to grow or recover. Timing conflicts arising from life priorities create subtle but persistent tension. Communication may suffer, shared experiences may be limited, and the sense of closeness may fluctuate. Even when both people intend to nurture the bond, the demands of daily life interfere. Missed opportunities for quality time, delayed responses, or the inability to engage fully can be interpreted as disinterest or lack of care, even when that is far from the truth. External priorities are often invisible to emotions, which perceive only absence or delay. This misalignment underscores how timing, shaped by life circumstances, can disrupt even the most genuine connection. Despite these challenges, life's priorities do not diminish the value of the connection. A bond impacted by timing still leaves an imprint on the heart, influencing personal growth, awareness, and understanding of what matters in a relationship. The frustration of misaligned priorities can teach patience, empathy, and the importance of balancing responsibilities with connection. Even when a connection cannot fully manifest due to timing, it can inspire reflection and preparation for future relationships, highlighting what individuals truly need and desire in a partner. Timing may prevent immediate fulfillment, but it cannot erase the impact of shared resonance. When timing and life priorities collide, both individuals often experience a mixture of longing and acceptance. They recognize the bond's potential yet understand that external realities prevent full expression. This understanding requires maturity, acknowledging that connection is not solely about desire, but about the alignment of life circumstances, readiness, and availability. Those who navigate these challenges thoughtfully can honor the connection while respecting their own responsibilities and the other person's obligations. In doing so, they preserve the bond's integrity, even if distance or delay prevents immediate closeness. Ultimately, life priorities remind us that connections exist within a larger context. Love or chemistry alone cannot guarantee that a relationship will thrive. Timing, circumstances, and practical responsibilities matter as much as emotional readiness. A perfect connection can be slowed, paused, or temporarily set aside because life demands attention elsewhere. Yet these moments do not render the bond meaningless. They teach lessons about patience, empathy, and the delicate balance between personal growth, responsibility, and emotional intimacy. Timing influenced by life priorities may frustrate the heart, but it also creates space for reflection, preparation, and deeper appreciation when circumstances eventually align. Even the strongest connection can be fragile when timing is misaligned, and one of the most painful consequences of mistimed connections is the presence of missed opportunities. Chemistry and understanding may exist in abundance, yet repeated delays, interruptions, or misalignments can prevent the connection from flourishing fully. Missed opportunities are not about a lack of effort or desire. They are about the way timing interacts with life circumstances, emotional readiness, and personal priorities. Each moment that could have deepened intimacy, built trust, or created shared memories becomes a reminder of what might have been. Over time, the accumulation of these small losses can leave a profound sense of regret, as both people recognize the potential that went unrealized simply because life and timing did not align. Missed opportunities can manifest in subtle ways. A canceled meeting, a postponed conversation, or a moment of vulnerability that wasn't met with presence may feel minor in isolation, yet they accumulate. When one person is ready to engage fully while the other is constrained by timing, these moments represent windows of connection that close without closure. Emotional resonance is present, but the ability to act on it is not. This creates a lingering sense of almost, the bittersweet feeling of being in the right place emotionally, but the wrong place temporally. It is a tension between desire and reality that often cannot be resolved immediately, leaving both parties grappling with longing and uncertainty. Repeated delays compound this effect. Even when both people care deeply for each other, circumstances may continually interfere: work demands, family obligations, geographic distance, or personal growth challenges. Each interruption or delay reinforces the idea that timing is against the connection. The bond, however strong, experiences friction with every missed opportunity. The intensity of the feelings remains, but the practical manifestation of the relationship, shared experiences, intimacy, and consistent presence is hampered. This imbalance can be confusing, as the mind recognizes compatibility while the reality repeatedly undermines it. The connection feels tantalizingly close yet painfully unreachable. The sense of missed opportunity is particularly pronounced when the connection involves emotional vulnerability. When one person is ready to share their heart fully, yet the other cannot meet them at that moment due to timing, the unshared vulnerability lingers as a what if, words left unsaid, gestures postponed, or moments of intimacy delayed can weigh heavily. These gaps create a silent record of potential connection that was never fully realized. Unlike conflicts that can be resolved, missed opportunities due to timing often leave permanent traces in memory because the circumstances cannot simply be recreated. Life moves forward, and the exact moment of alignment may never return, leaving the connection frozen in an unresolved state. The experience of missed opportunities also illuminates the interplay between timing and personal growth. Sometimes, delays occur because one or both people are in the midst of change, learning about themselves, healing from past wounds, or pursuing personal goals. These delays, while painful, are necessary for eventual readiness. Each missed opportunity teaches patience, resilience, and the value of internal alignment. They are reminders that connection is not solely about emotion or compatibility. It also requires the right context, timing, and individual preparedness. In this sense, missed opportunities are simultaneously losses and lessons, shaping how people approach future relationships. Missed opportunities can also highlight the unpredictability of life. Even with perfect chemistry and aligned intentions, external circumstances, career moves, relocation, family responsibilities, or unexpected events can create gaps that prevent full engagement. These interruptions are often beyond anyone's control, yet their impact is deeply felt. The connection remains vivid in memory precisely because it was never fully realized. The almost nature of the bond lingers, creating both longing and reflection, teaching the heart to recognize the fragility of timing and the value of presence when circumstances allow. Despite the pain, missed opportunities are not meaningless. They demonstrate the importance of attentiveness, awareness, and readiness when life does allow alignment. They show how precious moments of connection are and how easily external factors can interrupt even the most promising bonds. They remind people to honor the moments they have, to cherish shared experiences, and to communicate openly when the timing is right. The knowledge of what could have been also deepens appreciation for future opportunities, teaching that connection requires both internal readiness and external alignment to flourish fully. Ultimately, missed opportunities and mistimed connections create a tension between reality and potential. They leave an indelible mark on memory because the connection was genuine, yet circumstances repeatedly prevented its full expression. The heartbreak is not about lack of care or desire, but about the limits imposed by timing. Recognizing this allows both people to honor the connection while accepting its constraints, understanding that the most painful lessons often carry the most enduring insights about love, timing, and the delicate balance between the two. Sometimes, the disruption of perfect connections by mistimed circumstances is not simply a story of loss, but also a lesson in growth and self-awareness. Timing teaches lessons that chemistry alone cannot impart. When a connection falters because the external or internal conditions are not aligned, it forces reflection on priorities, personal readiness, and emotional maturity. These lessons may be subtle at first, hidden beneath the immediate pain of separation or missed opportunity, but over time they shape understanding of oneself, relationships, and the nature of love itself. Timing becomes a teacher, showing that even a seemingly perfect bond requires more than emotional resonance. It requires alignment, patience, and inner readiness. One of the first lessons timing imparts is patience. When a connection is intense yet cannot fully manifest, the heart learns to wait without surrendering hope or resorting to control. Patience is not passive, it is an active engagement with uncertainty, a willingness to allow events to unfold naturally rather than forcing outcomes prematurely. A mistimed connection teaches the value of respecting both the other person's circumstances and one's own, recognizing that love cannot be rushed without risking damage to the bond. It reveals that timing is part of the natural rhythm of relationships and that trying to force alignment often undermines the very perfection the heart seeks. Timing also teaches self-awareness. When a connection is disrupted, individuals are confronted with their own needs, limitations, and patterns. It highlights areas where personal growth is required, whether that involves emotional regulation, healing from past experiences, or clarifying life priorities. A relationship that is perfect in chemistry but mistimed often acts as a mirror, reflecting unresolved issues or internal misalignment. The intensity of the connection amplifies awareness, making it clear where one may need to mature or adjust. These lessons are invaluable because they prepare individuals for future relationships, ensuring that when the timing does align, they are ready to engage fully and healthily. Another lesson lies in resilience. When circumstances prevent a bond from flourishing, the heart experiences longing, disappointment, and frustration. Over time, navigating these emotions cultivates resilience, a capacity to endure emotional turbulence without being consumed by it. Timing teaches that life does not always conform to desire, and that emotional strength comes from navigating uncertainty rather than avoiding it. This resilience carries forward, enabling individuals to approach future connections with steadiness, wisdom, and balance. A missed or delayed connection becomes a training ground for learning how to sustain love in imperfect circumstances. Timing also imparts perspective on priorities and balance. When a relationship is interrupted by career demands, personal growth, family responsibilities, or geographic distance, it becomes evident that life involves multiple competing demands. Understanding this helps individuals recognize that love exists within a broader context. Emotional connection alone cannot guarantee stability or fulfillment. Practical realities also matter. Timing teaches that successful relationships require attention not only to feelings, but also to life circumstances, planning, and mutual readiness. This lesson encourages a holistic approach to love, where emotional intensity is balanced with awareness of reality. Additionally, timing teaches the impermanence and preciousness of moments. A connection that could have been perfect yet is interrupted by timing underscores how fleeting opportunities can be. It highlights the importance of presence, mindfulness, and cherishing shared experiences. Every conversation, every gesture, every shared laugh gains significance when the heart recognizes that circumstances can shift unpredictably. Timing impresses upon individuals that love is not only about intensity or compatibility, but also about recognizing and honoring the moments available, however transient they may be. Finally, timing offers insight into the enduring impact of connections. Even when a bond cannot fully materialize due to misalignment, its influence can remain profound. The emotional and intellectual resonance often shapes future perspectives on love, compatibility, and personal needs. Timing teaches that not all connections are meant to culminate in permanence, but that their lessons, reflections, and memories are timeless. These lessons help cultivate discernment, empathy, and emotional intelligence, equipping individuals to approach future relationships with greater awareness and appreciation. Through all of this, timing transforms the experience of love from mere desire to a deeper understanding of life, connection, and personal growth. It shows that the universe's misalignment is not necessarily a failure, but often a teacher guiding individuals toward readiness, insight, and self-discovery. Connections that are mistimed may not reach their full potential in the moment, yet the lessons they impart endure, shaping hearts, minds, and future relationships in ways that perfect timing alone could never achieve. Even when timing prevents a connection from fully manifesting, some bonds remain timeless in memory, leaving impressions that linger long after the circumstances have changed. These connections often feel unforgettable, because they touch something deep within the heart and mind, resonating on levels that go beyond the practical realities of timing. The emotional intensity, intellectual alignment, and shared understanding create a lasting imprint, even if life's timing didn't allow the relationship to flourish in the moment. These connections remind us that significance is not solely measured by duration or consistency, but by the depth of the experience and the transformation it brings. When a bond is impactful yet mistimed, the memory of it often feels vivid and detailed. People remember conversations, shared laughter, and moments of intimacy as if they occurred yesterday. The clarity of these memories persists because the connection itself bypasses ordinary levels of interaction. It was intense, authentic, and meaningful, even if brief. Timing may have interrupted the continuity of the relationship, but it cannot erase the emotional resonance. This is why some connections, no matter how short-lived, remain unforgettable. They are etched into the heart because of the depth of the experience, not its longevity. These timeless connections often teach us about the power of alignment and recognition. Even when circumstances prevent the bond from fully developing, the experience confirms what it feels like to meet someone whose presence aligns profoundly with your own. They show the contrast between superficial compatibility and true resonance. In remembering such connections, people recognize the qualities that matter in relationships: mutual respect, emotional openness, intellectual curiosity, and authentic connection. The bond becomes a benchmark against which future relationships are measured, not in a comparative or judgmental way, but as a guide toward understanding what deep connection feels like. The impact of timeless connections also extends to personal growth. Even if the timing was wrong, the relationship can act as a mirror, reflecting parts of ourselves that we may not have fully understood. Through the interaction, individuals often gain insight into their emotional responses, values, desires, and boundaries. The lessons derived from these connections are not wasted. They remain influential long after the moment has passed. Timing may prevent the continuation of the bond, but it cannot prevent the growth it catalyzes. The experience imprints wisdom, self-awareness, and an understanding of what it means to engage with someone on a profound level. Memory of a mistimed connection also carries an emotional richness that is difficult to replicate. There is a bittersweet quality to remembering someone you could have had under different circumstances. The what could have been amplifies the intensity of the memory, creating a lasting emotional footprint. These connections linger not because of regret alone, but because of the depth of feeling experienced during the time shared. They become a quiet, enduring presence in the heart, reminding us of the power of emotional resonance and the profound impact one person can have on another, even without permanence. Timeless connections also illustrate the difference between outcome and experience. While timing may prevent a relationship from reaching a conventional endpoint, such as commitment, shared life, or long-term partnership, the experience itself is complete in its own way. The bond exists fully within the moments that were shared, and its significance is not dependent on continuation. This perspective reframes the concept of loss. The connection is not diminished because it ended prematurely. It is honored for the richness and authenticity it contained. Timing may limit opportunity, but it does not limit meaning. Moreover, these connections often inspire hope and openness in the future. Remembering a bond that was profound, even if mistimed, reinforces the understanding that deep connection is possible. It provides reassurance that such alignment exists somewhere in the world, and that future relationships can hold similar resonance. The memory of a timeless connection can motivate individuals to seek authenticity, prioritize emotional availability, and cultivate readiness, knowing that genuine resonance is rare and valuable. Ultimately, connections that remain timeless in memory demonstrate the enduring power of emotional, intellectual, and spiritual resonance. Timing may interrupt the flow of a relationship, preventing it from unfolding in the moment, but it cannot erase the impact it leaves. The bond lingers, shaping self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and expectations for future relationships. Even when life's circumstances pull people apart, the memory of a deep connection remains unforgettable, a quiet testament to the fact that some encounters, regardless of timing, are too profound to ever be forgotten. In the end, the story of perfect connections disrupted by timing is a reminder that life and love do not always move in harmony. Even when chemistry, understanding, and emotional resonance are undeniable, external circumstances, personal growth, and timing can prevent a bond from fully flourishing. Yet these experiences are not wasted. They teach patience, self-awareness, resilience, and the value of presence. They reveal the delicate balance between desire and reality, showing that love is as much about timing as it is about connection. Even when a relationship cannot exist fully in the moment, its impact can be profound, shaping memories, growth, and understanding for years to come. Timing may frustrate, delay, or alter a connection, but it cannot erase its significance. True bonds leave a lasting imprint, reminding us that love, even when mistimed, is never truly lost.